Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the first live interaction session of the course Introduction to Aerospace Engineering. I am Rajkumar Pant, the course instructor, and with me is one of the NPTEL interns trying to help me with the chat on the YouTube live session. This is the agenda of today's session. I will talk to you about the last date for exam registration and benefits of registering for this course. I'll talk about NPTEL internship. Many of you may not be aware about this. There are a few questions by participants in the discussion forum or announcements, which we will take one by one. I will try to explain to you the importance of the usage of discussion forum. I will then take feedback, suggestions, and complaints regarding what has happened so far. And then there is an interesting topic called VIRA, which I will cover. And then we'll open the floor for any queries. So the last date for exam registration, as per the announcement, initially it was supposed to be 15th of August, but that last date has been extended to 5 p.m. on 18th August, which is today. So by the end of this particular session, the deadline for exam registration will go. So what I would urge all of you is that in between, if you get convinced with why I feel most of you should take the examination, you can quickly register if you have not done, so that you are within the deadline. After 5 p.m. today, it may be difficult for you to register. Okay. So here is my first point of discussion. In NPTEL courses, you have the option of just watching the videos, and you also have the option of registering for the course examination, giving all the assignments. Okay. So now the thing is that the examination of NPTEL is the real test of your learning. You are doing this course presumably to learn the subject of Introduction to Aerospace Engineering, right? You are learners. And just watching the videos is like watching a movie. Okay, so there is a comment from the course TA on the chat window that the deadline for the examination has been extended to 22nd August. So that means you have more time. That's good news. And thanks to Namanuddin for sharing this very important information, which was not there in my slides. Okay. So the deadline is now 22nd August. Now, when you watch the videos, you are under no pressure. You just watch it like a movie, like you watch a movie. There is some exposure, there is some overview, but there is no learning. Similarly, the assignments which you give, you get one full week for you to do the assignment. You can go back and watch the videos. You can even discuss with your friends. Okay. So there also there is no pressure. In the examination, you have to solve the questions within the duration of 3 hours. And you have to go back and try to remember and recall, as well as apply whatever you have learned to solve problems. So that is the real test. Okay. And the course certificate that you will get at the end of the course after you clear the course, that is the proof of exposure to the subject. Many students write an email to me asking for internships or asking to associate with me, and they say, sir, we have done your course. Then I say, can you please email me the course certificate? And then they say, no, sir, we have done the course, but we have not given the exam. We have not registered for the examination. I'm sorry, that is not called as doing the course. That is only watching videos like a movie and maybe assignments under no pressure. Okay. So if you really want to say anywhere that you have an exposure to this subject, you will definitely have to produce the course certificate. And that you can only get if you register for the course and also give minimum 8 assignments out of 12, because as you might know, 8 out of 12 best assignments are considered for evaluation. So even if you miss 1 or 2 or even 3 assignments, you still have an option to get your course certificate. There are many benefits of getting a course certificate apart from proof of exposure. In many institutions, under the new education policy of the Government of India, you can get waiver of some courses in your institute, especially elective courses. So in many institutes, I know they say that, okay, we permit 2 courses to be done via NPTEL. In some colleges, they allow 2 courses per year. And I know some colleges where they say 2 courses per semester also. So, when you do a course on NPTEL and get a certificate of passing the course, you can actually save time in doing the other courses in your college. You can get waivers for several elective courses. So, but that depends upon the policy of your institute. It is only a recommendation by the new education policy. Okay. Then, not everyone who wants to be in IIT can enter an IIT because we have this examination. People call it as the joint entrance examination, but actually it becomes a massive rejection examination because a large number of people appear for it and only very few are able to make it. But why should the exposure and the learning of courses in IITs be only limited to a few people who manage to get inside IITs? For that reason only, NPTEL has started this particular scheme where professors from IIT make their courses available to others. So take advantage of that. But just watching the course is not really learning. So you need to get proper exposure to our teaching and learning methodology. And for that, you should register and clear the examination. And finally, the bottom line. It is very much possible for you to get paid internships if you score very well in the NPTEL examination. There is something called as the elite gold category, which means you have to secure more than 90% marks overall in the examination and in the assignments. If you do that, you become eligible for a paid internship. Now, there is no guarantee that you will be given internship. This is a function, or this depends on the professor and his or her convenience. Some professors may not give internships. Some may give internship to 4, 5, 6 people. So, but you have a very good chance of getting an internship, and that too a paid internship. The intern who's sitting next to me and helping me today is one such intern who has done very well. He has topped the course which I teach in the month of January. And as a consequence of that, he is now doing a 3-month paid internship with me. Okay. So there are many, many benefits. Let's have a look at this internship a little bit more closely. Okay. So you can see that there is a mention of how much stipend you can get for this paid internship. It varies, but generally the amount is rupees 15,000 for 4 weeks of internship. Okay. So now, if you are in the elite gold category, and if the professor offers internship, you have a good chance of getting this internship. This could be online or offline. Definitely offline is better because you can then have a personal contact with the faculty regularly. But it's possible that you are not able to physically relocate to Mumbai. And because we are not able to give you accommodation on IIT Bombay or any other IIT campus, generally, some IITs may be able to give accommodation. But IIT Bombay, we have a constraint that we cannot give accommodation to outsiders. So it becomes expensive and difficult. Doesn't mind. You can do online internship, which is not as good, but still better than nothing. So why don't take advantage? All students who are undergraduate students in various colleges, they do look for internships as part of their curriculum. In some colleges, it is compulsory. In some, it is optional. Whatever it may be, internships are good. You learn beyond the classroom, learn beyond your institute. So you must do internships in your spare times. And NPTEL encourages you to do internships. So do well in the course, register for the examination, get a good score, and you will find that you get paid for it and you are able to work very closely with the concerned professor. So the intern who's working with me right now, his name is Yash Kapshikar, and he is helping me currently to create content for a new course which I'm going to launch, hopefully from the next January onwards. Plus, he's also going to work with me on some other ongoing projects. Okay, so it's good. It's good for him. It's good for me. We are both benefited. Okay, so with this, I hope I'm able to convince most of you who have not yet thought of registering for the examination to think the other way around. Okay, going ahead. Another important point is that this internship certificate is available on the website for verification throughout in the future. So you will get a certificate which will mention what you have done under which professor, but you will also be able to get it verified from the NPTEL website in the future. So when you apply for a job or for higher studies or for any other internship, you will be able to get a verifiable internship certificate, which looks somewhat like this. Okay, let's now take up a few questions from the announcements that were made. There was one question by Harshada. She wants to know how to develop soft skills and which software should I learn for designing and analysis. So, Harshada, what I would like to comment is that soft skills are developed by taking part in activities beyond the curriculum and by proactively using your spare time in reading, apprising yourself with the developments, and also taking part in competitions, events, volunteering to work with the university professors for arranging events, seminars, etc., and also in helping in many other ways. So if you stick to your own college, your own syllabus, your own class, you may not develop soft skills. You have to work towards it. Now, regarding designing and analysis, this is a very big area. There are different softwares available for different applications. If you're talking about aircraft design, there are separate softwares available for that and also for analysis. So I don't have any fixed answer for this because there's no one software which I can say this will help you for design and analysis. It depends. So if you can be more specific, you can send your detailed questionnaire in the discussion forum, and either Namanuddin or Yash or any other intern will be very happy to answer the question. The next question is from Shubham Pandey, who says that as a student of electronics and electric and communication engineering, I'm keen to understand how domains like avionics, communication links, navigation, and signal processing are contributing to India's ambitious aerospace initiatives such as Gaganyaan, RLV, and indigenous UAVs. Which interdisciplinary skills and research directions should students like me focus to play a meaningful role in this rapidly advancing sector? A very long-worded question, but a very, very appropriate and suitable question. If you are from the branch of electronics and communications engineering, the first thing you have to do is acquire domain-specific knowledge. You have to use the opportunity of studying in this very exciting and interesting branch to get the cutting-edge knowledge of your subject. And then when you get a chance to work either as an intern or in a job in the future, you should not be found lacking with knowledge and exposure. It will be very difficult for you to learn in college something that Gaganyaan project directly needs or the RLV directly needs or even the UAV's design and development needs. But you should be able to apply your knowledge, whatever you acquire during your undergraduate course and through NPTEL courses, You can apply that knowledge to get cutting edge expertise so that you are selected, and then you can apply that knowledge for doing your internship or work. There is a question from Sachi Kumar Vakala Gaddi on how can we enroll for your course aircraft design in NPTEL. The answer is this course has already been running, and therefore now it is too late to register for it. The registration date is over. Okay, but what you can do is two things. One is you can wait for the next offering of this course, which will be July next year, and don't miss the deadline. The other option is you can approach NPTEL for what is called as a self-paced course. Nowadays, they have started a scheme by which a student need not wait for the start of a course. You can start the course whenever you are interested. And if you miss the deadline, like you have missed the deadline this year, they might be able to run a course for you specifically. So please ask NPTEL people if they are able to offer you a self-paced course in aircraft design. If you don't want to wait till next July, then there is a course on aircraft design by Professor A.K. Ghosh of IIT Kanpur, ex-IIT Kanpur. That will run in January. That's also a wonderful course, and it gives you a very good exposure to this topic. So if you can't wait till July for my course, you can take that course in January and again take my course in July if you are interested. Nikun Chaube online has a question. Is the course lecture and assignment sufficient for getting elite gold, or should we look at other resources as well? What would I recommend? No, I don't think you really need to go too much beyond the textbook, too much beyond the course material. Okay. I don't think if you focus on what has been covered by us in the course, and if you really do the assignments very, very sincerely, you should be able to get a reasonably good score. I don't think you need to necessarily go beyond the course material, but if you do that, there is no problem. There is, for example, in this course, there is a book by J.D. Anderson Jr. on Introduction to Flight, I think, Theory of Flight. That's a very good book as a supplement, and many questions that we ask, you can find the solutions or the methodology to solve in this textbook. So it is always good to follow a textbook which is recommended along with the course material, but you don't have to really worry too much about other resources. My experience is, and maybe the other course TAs and Namanuddin can confirm, I think simply focusing very well on the course material and on the assignments, you might be able to get enough marks to clear and get the elite or gold status. There is a question about, as a mechanical engineering student, what are the best ways to get into aerospace aeronautical field of study? This is one way, by taking NPTEL courses in this particular domain. And also remember that aerospace engineering is one part of it is the application of mechanical engineering. So if you are a good mechanical engineer, you can apply your knowledge into aerospace engineering. Okay. Ananya has a question about being an EC student who recently found interest in Indian Air Force. What I should do to get into Air Force as an engineer? Well, Ananya, you need to do well in your undergraduate courses, secure a minimum first class, I think. And then in your final year, you can give the Services Selection Board. And when you give the SSB, if you clear it and you also clear the medical, you can join the Air Force as an engineer. Okay, so there's a very straightforward way. They are selecting engineers every year. Okay, moving ahead, we will solve questions from the announcements till we see some interesting questions in the live session. Nitish Kumar Jha has a question which is a little bit away from the course, but it is part of aerospace. Why nuclear propulsion is not being taught to us, since it has a lot of role to play in this field? If you can, I want to have a session talk about my idea, or you can provide me the clarity about this topic. Nitish, nuclear propulsion has already been investigated by aerospace engineers, especially by the Russians, and they have also built some aircraft which have nuclear propulsion based power plants. So it is not that we are not interested in that area. However, the problem is that the weight of a nuclear propulsion system and the safety issues regarding what happens if there is an accident. Those are the two reasons due to which many people are not interested in pursuing this field very, very seriously, because we still don't have the answers to what happens if there is a leakage of nuclear, how to handle the waste. And also there is a huge problem of the weight, because to make these systems safe on an aircraft, you need to provide very thick cladding and covering, and that will lead to heavy weight. Weight, as you know, is an enemy of flight, because the more weight you have, the more lift you have to generate just to fly level. So that's why nuclear propulsion has been attempted. There are aircraft which are flying with nuclear propulsion in Russia, but to the best of my knowledge, no other country is working in this area because of the two things I mentioned, the heavy weight and the safety issues. Okay. What are the conditions under which three different tail configurations, conventional, T-tail, and V-tail? I think what you mean by this question is under which conditions do these particular tail configurations become useful? So, okay, let me tell you one thing. This question is actually a part of the course on aircraft design, which I teach next semester. So what would be a good idea is to keep this pending till next year. You will get the answer if you do my course, or if you don't have the patience or interest to do my course next semester, next year on aircraft design, you can just watch the videos of the NPTEL course, which is already there. Just to give you a very brief answer, the most common and the recommended tail configuration is the conventional tail with one vertical tail and two horizontal tails. More than 70-75% of the aircraft have this tail configuration. Okay. So if there is no solid reason for choosing a non-conventional tail, I would recommend choose a conventional tail, which is tried and tested. In some conditions, a V tail or a T tail becomes superior, right? But they both also come with their own problems and their own limitations. So I would encourage you to watch the videos of my course on Introduction to Aircraft Design, the chapter on configuration design, and you will get the answers to situations when T-tail and V-tail become better, and also what are the drawbacks linked with them. What type of aerofoil does an empennage use in aircraft and why? How does rudder being small in size creates that big impact of yawing of aircraft? There are two questions here. I'll take the first question first. The aerofoil that is used in an empennage today is generally a symmetric aerofoil, because we might need upload or download in the control surface depending on our requirement. So it should not be that the aerofoil does only the work for one configuration. It should be able to do for the other configuration. I need some water. Okay. So generally the aerofoil used is a symmetric one, but there are many aircraft which have a non-symmetric aerofoil. In fact, you will notice that the aerofoils are generally mounted upside down in the horizontal tail, because many a times the download on the tail is required for stability rather than for longitudinal stability rather than upload. So that's why, since the predominant load is downwards, therefore you mount the aerofoil with camber and upside down. Okay. But if you look at the rudder or ailerons, generally, or flaps, generally the aerofoil is symmetric in nature. Okay. Now, how does rudder being a small in size creates a big impact on yawing? So look, the whole contribution of the rudder is to give the yawing moment. And the moment depends upon two things. Moment is the product of distance and force. So while the rudder may be itself a small surface, because it is located far away from the center of gravity of the aircraft, the moment arm that it creates, even with a small force, is quite large, large enough to affect the yawing moment of the aircraft. So rudder need not be small. In some aircraft, especially in transport aircraft, you have very big, large rudders. Some of them are cut into two parts so that the load does not come too much on one part. Again, this is a part of aircraft design course, and you will get answers to such questions in my course on aircraft design, which I offer next year, which is running right now actually. Okay, but yeah, this is exactly what it is. It's the distance from the center of gravity that helps us giving a big impact. Now, let's go to the online session. Section. There are some questions. There is a girl called Asmita Pipalje who is in class 12th, and she is very much interested in aerospace. So I may give the exam. Asmita, let me tell you, there have been stories, there have been instances in the past when students of class 11th have taken my courses and they have topped and they have come for internship. So you can definitely secure very good marks in this course being in class 12th. There is absolutely no problem. So many interns come and work with me who are still in college, still in school, 11th and 12th standard, and they have all done the NPTEL course, and that's how they came to know about me and they come to work for me. So I'll be very happy if you are able to secure very good marks and you are eligible for internship. It will be great to have you as an intern. Nikunj Chaube has thanked me and he has said he wants to ask why we are doing these online courses and getting the proper knowledge, but how do we apply this in practice and like we do for college subjects? The same way, how do you apply your college subjects in real life is by doing internships or by taking up a job where that knowledge can be used in a similar manner. So the NPTEL course is very similar to a normal course that you do. And therefore, all that you do in a normal course, same things are applying here also. Arnav Shinde has a question about being a CSE student. He has keen interest in aircraft and aerospace engineering. How do these two completely separate fields overlap? And what role does CSE play in aerospace? CSE plays a major role in aerospace. So CSE students can actually come after doing your undergraduate course in CSE. You will be able to do a master's in aerospace engineering in many colleges and universities, including in IIT Bombay. But you might be restricted to take only some specializations. Like there might be a restriction that you can do only guidance and control specialization and not aerodynamics or propulsion. Those constraints may come because you are not exposed to those courses. Okay, so CSE can be applied. See, a modern aircraft is driven by computers and many computers of different time. And if you look at the control system of a modern aircraft, it is driven by several computer programs. The engine is controlled by several computer programs. So therefore, a good CSE student can be very helpful. Even if you're good in hardware, you should be able to find place in aerospace engineering and you can contribute very well. So you are welcome, Arnab, to continue doing courses on NPTEL in aerospace engineering and eventually pursue a career in this very fascinating field. Next question from the announcement is how much bending of wing is permissible in y-axis in case of extreme turbulence? Very good question. I can tell you that during the testing of large transport aircraft, such as the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350, we have seen the tip deflections as high as 15-20 feet. Okay. 6 meters, 8 meters. So aircraft wings are tested for very high loads and they are very flexible in nature. So they are allowed to flex and to take the loads. I would recommend you to look at some videos available on YouTube on the load testing of transport aircraft wings. And then you will be able to go. You will be able to realize. Okay. Going back to the YouTube, Shivansh is a civil engineering student, and will this course be beneficial for me? definitely it will be beneficial. Civil engineering students can come to our field and work in two areas. One area is called aerodynamics, which is driven by fluid mechanics. So as a civil engineering student, you do study fluid mechanics very well, and therefore you can work in fluid mechanics. You can also work in aircraft structures. Several civil engineering students, they continue with their masters in aerospace engineering and then work in the field of aircraft structures. So as a civil, and then also you can work on airports. You can work on application of aircrafts in aviation. So Shivans, there are many interesting opportunities for civil engineering students. If you come to my department in IIT Bombay, Aerospace department, you will find many professors who have been BTech in civil engineering, and then they have done masters and PhD and their research in aerospace and come and join as faculty members. Raghav says that he is a class 11 student and will be required for me to learn advanced calculus to solve some of the problems in the exam. No, the answer is no, not in this particular course. You don't need any advanced calculus in this particular course. Then another student who calls himself No Brain, he has named himself No Brain in the YouTube channel. I'm sure that's not his real name. He wants to know that after BTech, he wants to give GATE and he's confused about whether to go for job or MTech. If I want to go into industry, is GATE score enough? So there is a third option now for people like you. NPTEL is offering what is called as a post-baccalaureate fellowship program. If you want to explore working in an institute like IITs before you give GATE, because see, GATE examination normally people give in their college just for practice or for getting a hang of it. It's difficult, not impossible, but difficult to get very good score in GATE along with your college studies. So many people, they want to take a 1 year break and they want to give the GATE next year. Now, what to do in that 1 year? So if they go into a job, they may get carried away and they may get actually engrossed, no time available for studies. MTech is only possible if you can get a very good score in GATE, especially in IITs and IISc. So NPTEL has given one more alternative now. Oh, you want to experience research in IITs and IISc, but you are not sure and you want to give a GATE next year. You can, if you do well in the NPTEL courses and become eligible through Gold and Elite certification, you can join under a professor on what is called as a NPTEL pre-doc, baccalaureate or fellowship. I have taken 2 students this year under that scheme. They are working now as project engineers in my department. They get a good stipend of rupees 35,000 plus there is a 1 lakh rupees available for any consumable items in 1 year. This is a 1 year opening. So you can spend 1 year working with the professor whose course you have done very well. Experience research, prepare for GATE, and then give it next year. If you don't like the environment, you can continue with the industry. At least you are sure. And if you like it, then you will be motivated to do well in GATE and continue for MTech or PhD later on. Briti Kaur is a CPL holder, 22 years old with a degree in BSc in aviation and took up this course due to my interest in aircraft technical subjects. How can I pursue MTech in AE? Very difficult. With just a BSc in aviation, you may not be eligible for MTech in many institutes, including in IIT Bombay, because for doing a MTech program in IIT Bombay, you require, in my department at least, you require a BTech degree, or they also take and a very good GATE score. So with BSc Aviation, I'm not very sure because BSc is a 3-year program, whereas BTech is a 4-year program. So I have no idea whether you will be able to do anything, whether you can do MTech. Most probably not. So you have to get a degree. Now, many institutes who are offering BSc in aviation, they also have some lateral entry to the BTech program. So maybe you should try out those institutes after you complete your BSc aviation. I'm happy to note that you are also a CPL holder at such a young age, Riti, because CPL holders can really understand the physics of the aircraft by practical experience. Swati wants to know how to contribute in the aerospace special IIT Bombay. Swati, that's a very generic question. You can contribute to our projects primarily by doing well in the GATE and coming here for MTech. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. Agalya wants to know, second year aeronautical student, where can I get internship under my domain other than NPTEL, and what other skills should I develop? Very difficult question to answer. Internships are not easily available. That is why this beautiful scheme has been started by NPTEL. You have to write to the various people, you have to write to the institutes, write to the companies, and hope that you get internship. It's not very easy. What other skill should I develop? The first thing I want everyone to know, especially the aerospace engineers, is Python. You must be very good in Python programming, and you must also develop skills in other softwares which are used for aerospace analysis. Swati also wants to know about AI enablement in aerospace domain. Where can I inquire about it in IIT Bombay? So we work on AI-based applications in aerospace engineering. Many professors in the department, including me, have taken some small research topics in this area. So you can do that. AI is now becoming a tool which anybody can use. Harshada Bhosle wants to, we participate in different competition like RC plane and all. IITs and NITs, so how it will help me if I'm participating in it. By taking part in competition to make an RC plane, you will get hands-on experience in making a flying object and learning how to control it and fly it. But if you really want to learn aerospace engineering design, you should take part in the competition called as NACDEC, National Aircraft Conceptual Design Competition, NACDEC. So I will request Yash to type on the chat window www.nacdec.in. This is the website of the competition, and this is the website. So please, whoever is interested about this competition and to know about aircraft design competition, please go to the website. You will notice that this is the 8th year in which we are conducting this particular event. And the final round of this particular event is going to happen very soon in Bengaluru on 23rd of August. The details will be available on the NACDEC website. Okay, Shivansh wants to know, can I pursue Masters in Aerospace Engineering after taking Bachelor degree in Civil Engineering? 100%. With a Bachelor's in Civil Engineering and GATE in Civil Engineering, you are eligible for MTech in Aerodynamics and Structures in IIT Bombay, and maybe some other branches in other IITs. Please check. But remember, do not try to give GATE in Aerospace Engineering. Give GATE in your own discipline. If you are a mechanical engineer, you give GATE in mechanical. If you are a civil engineer, give GATE in civil. If you are an electrical engineer, give GATE in electronics. Don't assume that to do MTech in aerospace, you need GATE in aerospace. No, you don't need. You can give GATE in your own discipline. But please check the eligibility in the website of all the institutes. All institutes have different rules. All IITs and IIC, there is no uniform rule. For example, in IIT Bombay, for MTech admission, we require a first-class degree in bachelor's. Okay. But IISc Bangalore, as far as I know, doesn't have this requirement. They even take second-class degrees. So this is different. In IISc Bangalore, you may be able to enter a master's program with second-class undergraduate degree, but a very good GATE score. In IIT Bombay, even if you are the GATE topper, if you do not have first class in the undergraduate program, currently you are not allowed to, you are not eligible for admission. So you have to look at the website of all the IITs separately for eligibility and check. Agalya wants to know any other software that we as aeronautical engineers require to learn. Oh, there are many softwares. I cannot name one of them. If you look at the course, you will see there are many softwares which we use and we talk about them. So you will come to know on your own. There are software like OpenVSP, which we talk about in the aircraft design course. That is a very useful software for initial, I can't say design work, but initial CAD modeling work. There are other software which are available. I would recommend you to look at open source softwares. Yeah. Yashvardhan has a technical question. After a long time, I have had a technical question. Do pilots see both true airspeed and IAS at much height at the same time? And if why both are required to check? No, pilots do not directly see true airspeed. Pilots normally only see the indicated airspeed because the instrument that is there in front of them is calibrated based on the sea level value of density. So when it senses the pressure at higher altitude, it will show only the indicated airspeed, which will be different from the true airspeed because the density of the air at higher altitude is lower than that at sea level. However, in most instruments, there is also a small dial that indicates true airspeed because pilot needs to know the true speed also. However, for most of the piloting applications or requirements, IAS is good enough because IAS is what is used for all the information and communication with the pilot. For example, at what is the minimum speed at which you have to take off from the aircraft, you normally mention the IAS value so that there is no confusion with the pilots. So the answer is pilots do see both the speeds, but they work principally with IAS, and therefore it is important for the instruments to indicate IAS. Anup Somar has a question. He is an MTech in CSE and more than 20 years experience in the software industry, and he also has worked in airline domain projects. Should I apply for PhD in aerospace engineering? You can apply for a PhD, but before you apply for PhD in aerospace engineering, it is very important that you should first identify one or two faculty members who are interested to guide you in that area. So unlike other courses where you first apply, get selected, and then you start getting allotted to professors, in a PhD, it's the other way around. You have to first identify the person with whom you want to work, be in touch with that person, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, there's no harm. And then you should be able to, then you should apply. It's a bit different. Therefore, I would recommend that with your experience and your background, you first talk to some faculty members, find out who is interested in your kind of knowledge, see if there is a PhD topic available, and then only apply. Nikunj Chaube says, considering modern electronics and digital display, won't using true airspeed be more useful because IS is dependent on external factors and need to be calibrated? What you say is true. That's why I said the pilot gets to see both the speeds. But the flying, see, pilots normally learn flying on smaller aircraft. And there we cannot have such advanced electronics. So their complete airmanship and experience is based on their initial exposure to small aircraft. So therefore, we use IAS because IAS is same for various situations as long as the density of the air is same. So therefore, it is a very nice unifying factor. But true airspeed can also be used. Okay, true airspeed can also be used. And notice there will be errors in true airspeed also because ultimately it is based on instruments. So you have to also go for calibration of a true airspeed. Okay. I think now we will take some questions from the announcement. The questions which I have just now shown to you, 3 of them, they were by Pushkin Meal. Okay. Now, there is another question which is about need for unique design of future aircraft. It is okay to take advantages and mistakes of others, but if we stop the research, then how India will create something great? If new generation aircraft may manufacture by old formula, then we should create 6th and 7th generation jet. Till today, why are we stuck in Tejas aircraft? We are stuck in Tejas aircraft because after a long time, we got the mandate to work on a cutting edge aircraft. Okay. So suddenly you can't start working on 6th and 7th generation aircraft unless you have a history and continuous support. So the Tejas aircraft project began somewhere in mid-80s, and the amount of time it took to reach its first flight, that is because there was complete lack of expertise and knowledge in the country in contemporary fighter aircraft design. That is because historically there was no project which was taken up. Okay, there are many reasons for that. One can blame the government, one can blame HAL, one can blame anybody. That is not the point of discussion. The fact is that there are not many. Okay, let us forget about aircraft. Look at cars. Can I tell you that why the Indian automobile industry is not creating very high speed race cars. Okay, they will do it eventually, but they have to slowly grow. So we are not stopping. We are not stopping at all. You are trying to say that, okay, we have done Tejas and we are stopping at that. No, there are so many new aircraft. MCA is under design. There are new unmanned combat aerial vehicles under design. So therefore, don't worry. Work is going on in the aerospace industry in many cutting edge technologies. We are not stopping at the 4.5 generation Tejas aircraft. That's only a beginning. Swati wants to know what could be the probable reasons for Ahmedabad plane crash, how this can be prevented in future. This question I don't want to answer because the inquiry report has still not been completely released. All we have is the interim report which says that the cutoff switches for both the engines were activated. We don't know how, we don't know why. Okay. So all we know is that there was complete loss of fuel supply to both the engines, which is a very unique and rare situation. What are the reasons for it? We don't know. The moment the final report is released, both you and me can read it. It's a public domain document and we will get our resolution. I know it's very frustrating. It takes so much time, but it is not so easy to investigate plane crashes, especially where there is such a large damage and almost complete loss of life. Arnav Shinde says that since I mentioned about few specializations with CSC student might be, can the NPTEL courses cover the aerospace topics I miss in my UG and hence for my masters? Definitely yes. Many students who come to my class in MTech in IIT Bombay, they say that they have done my NPTEL courses and they have benefited a lot by it. They got the basic exposure to that. So don't worry. But don't worry, we are going to teach you those courses again when you come here. So introduction to aerospace engineering is taught to all the MTech students in our department. So it's not that you will left, but it's okay. It always helps. Prithikor wants to know, however, if I cannot do an MTech, is there any other way I can access the AE research field? Yes, Priti, MTech is not the only way. As a pilot license holder, you have a big role to play in the aviation industry. You could go into the maintenance side because you have done BSc aviation. You could go into the support services side. You could go into many other functions that an aviation degree can get you. So not everything is research oriented in life. Okay. We also need good pilots like you. We also need good maintenance engineers. We also need good people to support the operations in aviation. So you could take part in the air transportation field. I would recommend you to do the course on air transportation when we offer it next year. And that way you'll get exposure to the air transportation industry. You will know how many jobs and opportunities are available in that particular sector. Okay, moving ahead, there is a question on sonic boom effect. Is there any shape or design that avoids sonic boom? Is there any way to completely cross this problem? What if there is no sound in case a problem is solved over this? Yes. So there is a very strong effort to bring a successor of Concorde aircraft, a supersonic transport aircraft, right? That kind of thing is going on. There are companies. There is one company called as Boom Aviation, which is working on special nose of the aircraft to reduce the sonic boom to such a level that it will not create too much pressure difference and hence a problem. Okay, so there are several attempts being made. So we are very hopeful that very soon you will be able to see. And the good thing that has happened in the US is there was a restriction that aircraft cannot fly supersonic over the land. It was a law. That law has been amended recently. Okay, we have to thank Trump and his administration. We always keep talking about Trump in the negative way, but this is one positive thing, that the restriction on not flying supersonic over the US mainland has been lifted. So therefore, we should be able to find it. Swati wants to know, where can I find public reports or of other plane crashes? Oh, there are so many sources, Swati. There are accident investigation podcasts. There are so many YouTube channels which investigate. Plus, there is something called as aircraft accident boards. So the reports of the accident boards are available online because they are public documents. So you will be able to find them. Okay. Walt wants to know about, with advancing AI rapidly, how is it integrated into aerospace? AI is a tool, and that tool can be used in almost any field. It's a field agnostic knowledge. So therefore, it is not a it's not difficult to apply it there. But remember, AI is very much, AI and ML both, they're very much data dependent. So in areas or situations where you have a large amount of data, that particular field can be applied to AI or ML. So there are many of them, and in aerospace engineering also many of these tools are being used. Alokesh wants to know if there's any chance of development of Hindenburg type where we can. Yes, there are many companies working on it. I would recommend you to register for the course on LTS systems next semester from January, where we talk about all kinds of challenges in LTS systems. And there you'll get the answer to your question. Dhananjay, a few days back, I experienced sonic boom at Nasik. Yes, Dhananjay, by the way, I also was working in HAL Nasik for about 1.5 years before coming to IIT Bombay. And routinely, we used to hear sonic booms because they were military aircraft flying regularly at supersonic speeds. So, yes, if you live in Nasik near the HAL township or in the township like we were living, sonic booms were heard by us regularly. Dog 2202 on top of Concord study, why was the nose built such a way that the nose could move up and down? Answer to this question is given in my course on aircraft design next year. Okay, there is a very strong reason for it, a very interesting reason for it. I don't want to give you right now. I would like you to register for my course on aircraft design and find the answer there. R23 says that he is currently enrolled in BTech Mechanical. What opportunities should I be in the lookout for if I wish to make a career in aerospace engineering for R&D specifically? Unlimited. Unlimited. Most of the successful aerospace engineers are BTech Mechanical or BTech Aero or BTech Electrical or BTech Civil. So BTech Mechanical is a very good base degree, but you will have to specialize into some area, perhaps through a master's or preferably a PhD if you want to do R&D. So after that, there is no problem. You can make a career in aerospace engineering like so many other people have done. Moving ahead, there is a question about, so this question is a little bit confusing, but what I understand is that there is a question regarding safety. Is an aircraft is traveling by air safer than going by road on two-wheelers? The answer is yes. If you look at the probability, it is 9 times more probable for you to get an accident on a two-wheeler compared to in the aircraft. So definitely you will be able to do that. Okay. Now, the student Doc 2202 is in 7th grade and I'm interested in aerospace designing. Are there any events that are being held up in Bombay or Pune or aerospace? Yes, there are many. Please be in touch. You are in 7th grade and you are asking question about Concorde aircraft. I'm so amazed and excited that there is such a young student. So if you keep in touch, we will be able to make you aware of more interesting things. Chinmay Gandre says that he is doing UG in mechanical and minor in AIML. Passion for aerospace. What courses should I take for masters? Do a master's in aerospace engineering if you are really interested. Yash Vardhan. Which BTech department is best for our own jet engine development that we are lagging? Propulsion. Mechanical engineering, propulsion. Okay. I have been told that there are only a few minutes remaining, so I'll just go to the last session which I have to show you. You have learned about atmosphere of Earth. I wanted to give you just a few flavor about atmosphere on Venus, which is also an interesting planet. You can notice that there is a temperate zone between about 45-50 kilometers to 60 kilometers. That is the area of interest. This particular figure has come from a Venus mission concept study, which was done recently. And I'm happy to share that one of the authors of this particular report is an ex-intern from my laboratory, Sharak Saikia, who went ahead to do a PhD from Purdue in astrodynamics. Okay. So you can notice that the temperate zone is between 45-50 kilometers to 60 kilometers, where temperatures are around 60 degrees centigrade or a little bit less. And the pressure is almost like Earth's pressure. Okay. So just like we have ISA, we also have VIRA, Venus International Reference Atmosphere. Okay. So on the right hand side is an image of three important parameters of VIRA: temperature, pressure, and the ambient wind. And I have made a small table to show you what happens at three altitudes, 0, 50, 100. You can notice that the surface of Venus is very hot. Temperature is 750 degrees centigrade. But when you go to 100 kilometers above, it becomes 150 Kelvin, which is manageable. Look at the pressure. It is 1 bar at around 50 kilometers. But at surface, it is 93 bars. That means 93 times more than the Earth. And look at the wind speeds. The winds are 0 at the surface, but they become 60 meters per second at 50 kilometers. And if you go higher altitudes, they become extremely large. So this, all of you are familiar, is ISA, correct? You have studied about it. This is VIRA. Quite similar in the initial stages, but then it is, remember the two x-axis and y-axis are not the same. Okay. So look at the numbers and then you can decide. Right. Now, at altitudes of 45, 50, 55, 60, the temperatures are manageable. So many materials that we are using on the Earth can be used in this particular condition. So this can be helpful in what is called as a phase change system, which we have also studied as part of our research. We did a project for ISRO on using a balloon that works on phase change system. This is how it works. So it contains a fluid inside, which vaporizes and becomes gaseous at high temperature. So the buoyancy increases, it goes up. And when it goes up, it condenses. When it condenses, the buoyancy reduces, it comes down, and the winds are going to take it. So you can have up and down motion. So this particular concept was studied by us. I noticed that there are so many questions in the live session. So I would like you to use the discussion forum more actively. Our course TAs are very, very prompt in replying queries on the discussion forum. Even Nomanuddin has also mentioned that keep this energy continued and utilize discussion forum. You don't have to ask questions only in the online sessions. You can use the online sessions for very specific questions. For generic questions like what you are asking about career, about future, etc., better to use discussion forum, which is available to you 24/7. Okay. Pushkin Meal wants to know only those students who specifically get elite gold certificate in NPTEL. Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, we cannot offer internship through NPTEL to any other students other than who are eligible. And eligibility requirement is elite gold certificate. We are coming to the end. We have just 2 minutes remaining. So if you have any feedback or any comments or any suggestions, please use discussion forum and do that. And there's no point in opening for query because already we are opening for so many queries. So there are a few minutes remaining, 1.5 minutes to be precise. I will be able to answer some of your queries if you put them on the online session. Shubham Pandey wants to know about. So this question I already have answered, Shubham, online. I have answered this question online. Just a few minutes ago, I have answered these questions online. Any more questions anybody has? We have exactly 1 minute remaining before we close. Doc 2022 also has asked about companies are trying to build aircraft such a way that when the plane stalls, the airplane and passenger area will data. Yeah, it is true. There are many such concepts, but they have not yet been actually implemented. It's not very easy because it's not very easy to have a system which can detach and which can save the lives of the passengers. Okay. All right. So with that, we would like to thank you. Doc 2022, you can again type your question if you want me to answer a specific question. If you want to ask a specific question, you can ask me again. Yeah, this question I have already answered. Okay. Mars, and how do we try to send humans from Earth to Mars in less than a year? Okay, very good. So, if you want to study about Mars, we have done some work in Mars also for ISRO. We have taken up a project on looking at UAV for operating on Mars. Yeah, so Shubham, I have already answered the question. Your YouTube live will be available to you after a few minutes on this. So please, you watch the answer there. You should have been present in the discussion. I have specifically added your question and answered it. Okay. And Toraja says, is my question not visible? I don't know. I am not very sure. No question was visible. Okay, so it's already 6 o'clock, in fact, past 6 o'clock. We would like to stop today's session. Thank you very much for being present here and making it so interactive. This is the first time when there has been so much excitement and enthusiasm in a session. I hope this will continue even next year in the next sessions. Thank you so much and have a nice evening.